a guy named Alistair, a tall boy, a gentle giant in every sense of the word, a kind face, very patient. He had missed a class 2 days before, and I went into full teacher mode, telling him off, where were you? This is an opportunity, you've missed, you've all been there, you've all been on the receiving end of teacher anger, yes, that reprimand. I was giving him the full force for missing his lesson. And then he replied, ma'am, do you remember 2 days ago that there was a huge storm? This was in Johannesburg and Gauteng. And I said, of course I remember, how could I forget? It was a very dramatic storm, it was all over the newspapers. And he said to me, ma'am, my shack washed away and I had to rebuild it. He came from a child-headed household. He was only 14 years old, looking after 2 little brothers, and they had to rebuild their home from nothing. And in the face of that, he only missed 1 day of school. As you listen to this story, something very exciting is happening in your head. When you hear a story, hormones start to pump into your mind. Oxytocin, endorphins. You're drawn in. Your neural patterns start to match mine. We're on the same wavelength. This is what makes storytelling so powerful. But so what? So what? Yes, it's nice to hear a story. But if I were to ask you and put it into context, how many NGOs are there in South Africa? Hands up. Sweetie for the first person. How many NGOs in South Africa? Anybody? 282,000. Go to the top of the class. There are over 200,000 NGOs in South Africa at the moment, and each one of them is competing with various challenges. We've got funder fatigue. We've got the shifting, fickle moods of funders. We've got competition for overseas funds. We've got trust issues. All of this makes an impact in how you perform when you are applying for funding. But let me give you some other statistics to back that up. Studies have shown that donors are 60% more likely to give to a campaign that features a specific story about an individual beneficiary rather than abstract statistics. And I've spent the whole day listening out for one of those specific stories. Application for grants that include compelling stories about the non-profit's impact are 30% more likely to be successful. So when I tell you about the way that stories affect your brain, when I tell you about the challenges that NGOs are facing, and when I tell you about the effectiveness of including storytelling in your campaigns, you will start to understand that storytelling is not a nice to have, it's a must have.